Welcome back, my gardening friends. Well, I just wanted to share with you today some of the good, some of the bad, some of the damn right ugly. But these 1 ton builder's bags had got my surplus, unscrupulously dumped cannabis compost in. And I thought, where do I put it? So I put it into these 1 ton bags, left it in, and I thought, shall I grow something in them? And I'm just absolutely amazed. There's hardly any nutrients in this. Well, we hope not, considering where it's come from. But everything is growing really well. These are the spring onions. These are the beetroot that we sowed. The actual onions that are in here have done really well. There's some carrots, some parsnips that we've got surplus. We put some strawberries in. The birds have loved those. No beet leaf miner on these here. But I'm really pleased that I actually did a mix and match, because I do love watching the people who do a mix, a match, like Greta's garden and Anne's kitchen garden. And these spring onions have been absolutely lovely. And this ladybird hasn't thanked me for knocking him off the beetroot. We need to look after our ladybirds. They do us a cracking job. So that's worked out really well this year so far. Again, trying something different, the straw bale gardening. These bales were put in flat instead of on their sides. We've got the one there. The one that's in the pallet collar, well, I've suffered with slugs. But in here we've got a gold rush courgette, some pak choy that hasn't gone to seed. We've got a couple of the broad beans. These are barley straw bales because the seeds have grown now and I can actually see what they are. So they're not wheat bales. So the pongo beans, we've got some spring onions there and some strawberries, but this hot weather, it's been very difficult to keep them moist, even though this seal container has got the overflow on, but I've been watering it every day. But it's been interesting. Will I do it again? I'm not sure, but it's a real fun thing to do. We'll just show you now the other bales. So I'll condition these with my homemade liquid manure. Well, homemade, I'll just drain it out of the manure into those bins. Pongo beans look a lot brighter than the others. This is the Shirley tomato. It just needs a little bit of support, but you can see there the barley. We put some cobra beans in, but they've been eaten. We've got a pepper in there. We've got a lettuce, and the poor old pak choy's just dropped right down in the bottom. We've got a giant carrot there. You never know, do you? It might love it in there and grow really well. But yes, I've enjoyed the straw bale gardening, and with more time and effort I would probably get something better out of it, but it's certainly been fun. So those 2 beds have cost me, they're £4 a bale, 4 or 8, £16 for 2 beds. So that would equate to, I'll say, 3 bags of compost, 2 bags of compost. You wouldn't grow that much material, vegetables, in 2 bags of compost, so well worth it, I think. Another good thing is that I've managed to get these galvanized containers filled. That's north. It's covered in plastic that gets no rain, but I watered these. It wasn't last night because it was too hot. So these got watered over a day and a half ago, and it's still moist. So the sun's not drying them out because there's no rain gets on these. I've got to literally put the water on, but everything does seem to be growing well. It'll just be interesting to see. We've got some green flower there. Interesting to see if the pak choy goes to seed or not in this area, but they've been held back that long. I may have really just abused them. I'm glad I changed this bed. Look how easy it is now to harvest these alpine strawberries. Now I've heaped the soil this way. Last year it was about 6 inches below because it sunk, but this is so much easier now, and I think I've not taken many of these home. I don't know why. Excuse me. The use of the sheep's wool on my allotment in the last 10 months has been interesting, and I've seen some marvellous results. And either mulching to keep the moisture in, to keep the weeds away, and then feeding nitrogen to some of the plants. And if this sheep's wool stops the rats from climbing up or keeping them away and eating the sweet corn, even better. And I've been really happy with the successional sowing of some of the plants. There's some of the spring onions that you've seen in the first part of the video. A little row of radish there, and then successionally sown over a period of time the radishes. Surprising how many you need to sow to keep the fridge full of those lovely crunchy radishes once we've put them in a container with a bit of moist kitchen roll to keep them fresh. I don't dwell on the failures or the bad things that go on in our allotments. We just let them crack on. Those are the shallots. They just did not like the weather. They've gone to seed. We'll let them go to seed. We'll save that seed. We'll sow that seed, and we'll go again. The walking onions don't know whether to walk or stay in the air, but look at the size of them. There's the normal ones, and we've got some down here that have walked, but there's quite a few on there. But I always concentrate on the successes, but we do have failures. Don't want to move you too quick. And the experiment with the silver skin onions didn't really work very well. They dried out too quickly. They didn't grow and split like I thought they would. So it was well worth using the surplus ones that we didn't pickle, planted them from large down to small. But again, we'll save the seed. We'll see if we can get some seed or some pips from them. Grasses, etc. This walking onion in a separate bed is folded over, but now it's decided to throw, look at me, where am I pointing? Come on. Some more. So they're feeling stressed, they're feeling like they need to reproduce again. But we'll help them. We'll make sure that they grow next year or this year when we replant. The Jerusalem artichokes, we harvest what we wanted. We left the rest in. I should have dug them all out and just planted half a dozen, because they're just trying to escape wherever they can. They actually lifted this box up where I hadn't got it screwed down previously, and now they're starting to grow out the side. So I have them contained in a fashion, but we will have to have a rethink on how many we leave in. Not leaving hundreds in, just leave half a dozen. But we'll see. Hopefully they'll give us some nice sunflowers, but there are too many in there, not enough water, so we could have some issues. And then we come to the ugly bit. This isn't as much the ugly bit, but if I'd have left the bit that you're about to see like this, I'd have been a lot happier. So this is where I tried to transplant the strawberries. I disturbed the soil, allowed all the weed seeds to come to the surface, and caused me issues. But because I've got about 25 pallet collars now. I'm going to change it all in here, because in here all we used was recycled timber, which has lasted really well, but it's time to give this a little bit of a makeover this coming winter. My giant radish went to seed, and then the green fly attacked it. The green fly got to the giant Kairobi and passed it on to one of the giant cabbages. That's an after, and that's a before. And for some unknown reason, I believe the mice have nibbled the strawberries off, dragged them and dropped them there, and not even bothered eating them. What a waste. So this is debris netting. This 2 meters wide, and I've sewn it up. I've even sewn up where the eyelets are, because the butterflies will get in, and this is normally my cabbage cage, but I plant the strawberries to get a harvest before the cabbages get too big. So we harvest the strawberries, they die off, we collect the little baby runners, and then the cabbages grow on. But the cabbages haven't done as well in here this time. This one outside. Just got to keep an eye out for any caterpillar damage or aphid, but there's no aphids in here at all in this one. So sometimes, is it worth covering our crops or just letting nature do its business? Because the ladybirds can't get into that cage, but they can get here. That's why I left the cabbages all uncovered. Let the birds eat the caterpillars, and the ladybirds the aphids, etc. Let nature find a way. Do I leave my flowers on, or do I take them off? I'll leave them on. They're absolutely enjoying themselves, and all the pollen and that are spreading. But I certainly like to see the bumblebees around potato flowers and the volunteer poppies. Please share anything that is good or bad or damn right ugly in the comments below, because people do seem to think that they're not doing well, when actually we all have the same issues but at different times. So we mustn't be disappointed. I've noticed a few of the beans are flowering now, and some of these haven't set and the flowers have just dropped on off. But I've got a playlist at the end of 1 minute tips, and it shows you how I ensure that these get pollinated, especially these dry conditions. They need that little bit of moisture in the morning, early morning, to make sure these, and at the moment my vehicle's been bone dry, where normally you get a little bit of mist on it. That's what these bean flowers need, and it works really well. So why not just check that playlist out at the end of my 1 minute tips? Why not watch them all? And I'd like to thank everybody who watches my videos from the start to the finish. It helps my channel out greatly. Playlists are there for you. Check my channel out, look for the playlists that interest you, and please ask me anything you like. If I don't know, I don't know. But I think a lot of us do like to share our thoughts and experiences, especially in the comments. Thumbs up or a thumbs down for the interaction. Please leave me a comment, and why not consider subscribing? Happy gardening to you all. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ra for now. weed as we go. Don't forget the end screens.